Good morning, I'm Huell Howser. Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Huell. Usually this program originates in Los Angeles. This morning is a very special program, though. We're in Nashville, Tennessee. This week is Fanfare Week here in Nashville. Over 15,000 country music fans from all over the world are here to meet and to hear their favorite country music artist perform. My guest this morning, I really don't know how to introduce you. I've heard all of these things. You're the living legend. You're the man responsible for discovering and promoting the Nashville Sound. Chet Atkins, how would you describe yourself?
I'm a guitarist and record producer and semi-star. That's the way I think of myself.
Your music, though, truly crosses all kinds of barriers. You're not a country music musician. How would you describe the music that you perform so well?
Well, I came from a musical family, and my father, Huell, was a classical music teacher. And he wanted me to be a classic musician too, and I guess a little of it rubbed off. I certainly heard a lot of his rehearsing and everything, but I had to make a living, and to do that I had to be a country musician. But I got interested in all kinds of music, jazz and classics and country and everything, and so that's the reason, I guess, if my records have reached a lot of people who are not necessarily country fans, it's because of all that other exposure that I had as a child.
You are traveling all over the country. You have been for a number of years, appearing with symphony orchestras in various parts of the country.
Yeah, I work with a small group, and then I do quite a few dates with symphonies, and I take my group along. I'm playing in July, for instance, I think it's the 10th, with the Atlanta Symphony. I've never played with them. I played with the Atlanta Pops, but not with the symphony. And I've played with just about every major orchestra in this country, and that all happened because I did a couple of albums with Arthur Fiedler and the Boston Pops, and all of a sudden I had all these good arrangements, and most Pops orchestras try to be as successful as the Boston Pops, so they just naturally got the idea, well, let's get Chet in because he worked with the Boston Pops, and it's gone very well. I've worked with a lot of small ones, a lot of large ones, so it's been very good for me.
What's the state of music in this country today when you go out to these various cities to perform with the orchestras? Are they good?
There are a lot of very good orchestras. A lot of them have financial problems, but that's the reason for people like myself appearing with them. They do that to raise money so they can play their classical music and educate the people to music and everything. And I'm not the only one. A lot of people appear with Pops orchestras.
The Nashville Sound there's a legend about the Nashville Sound. What is the Nashville Sound?
People ask me that every day, and I had a German in here the other day, and he said, "Do you know what the Nashville Sound is?" And I said, "No." And he said, "That is the Nashville Sound."
That sweet sound.
Money. Now, the Nashville Sound. Did you ask me what is the Nashville Sound?
Yeah.
I'm afraid you wouldn't ask that. I don't know. It's, I guess people speak with a certain accent in various parts of the country. And they also play with an accent. They play with a certain feel, like if they're from Memphis or Nashville or wherever. And if there's a Nashville Sound, that's probably what it is, because the equipment is the same. Equipment worldwide is the same in recording studios. I think it's kind of a sales tag, really, but we like it.
Was there ever a time when you thought about going to Los Angeles or to New York to base yourself out of there?
Never. I recorded in those places. I produced a couple of albums in California and a couple in New York, but I was never as comfortable, and I couldn't communicate as well with the musicians, because in those places, and I'm not putting them down or anything, it's because of the large cities. When the musicians work for you, they work for you like they will probably never see you again, and they won't, and they don't give their all. Here, it's a small town, and I think the musicians, they want you to come back because they need to work, and they try very hard to please you. And it also helped that I knew a lot of the musicians first name basis. That made me, of course, more comfortable. So a lot of it is my fault too.
It really is like a family here in Nashville,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It sure is. And it's used to be, when I first started out, Owen Bradley and myself, it was more like a family because there was like one good rhythm section in town, and you could hire them. You could decide you want to record now and record this afternoon because they weren't all that busy. But it's certainly changed. We must have 20, 30 great rhythm sections in town now, and it keeps growing and growing, and who knows? I don't know how big it's going to get. It always surprises me. If I'd have been smart, I'd own all the real estate up and down the streets here.
Instead of just half of it.
Oh, no.
Is there ever anything negative about what's happening in Nashville? Is it getting too big too fast, or are too many people trying to jump on the country music bandwagon?
I don't think so. I think it's going along very well, and I think the music is going very pop. But every once in a while, a guy will come along like John Anderson, I'm Just an Old Lump of Coal, which is a real country record, and that gives you hope, you know, that maybe country music will not go so pop and maybe it will stay the same. And I hope the fans will always keep that in mind and buy pure country music, because that's where it is.
Well, now you have a new album out.
Oh, yes.
That has the word country right on the front of it. Is it mainly traditional type?
A lot of the tunes are, yes. Orange Blossom Special and some current country tunes. It's titled Country After All These Years, and I certainly appreciate you mentioning that, of course.
You don't spend all your time in a recording studio or out appearing with symphonies. This golf club is very prominent here in your office. You work a little bit of that into your busy schedule, don't you?
Yeah, I played yesterday with Archie Campbell of Hee Haw fame and won a quarter. Should have won about $8, but they got even on the last hole. But anyway, yeah, I enjoy golf a lot. It's I think it's the greatest game ever devised. I'm sure it is. Because of the camaraderie with your friends, and you never master the game. You know, you shoot like a good score today, and you go out tomorrow, and you can't hit the ground with your hat. You know, it's just a wonderful game. You can predict who will win tennis tournaments, but you can't golf because it's
even when you're playing with Archie Campbell.
You never master it. You know, the pros, none of them. Once in a, you know, you got Jack Nicklaus, who is a very, very unusual human being, but he still doesn't control things.
Your music and your travels across the country have put you in contact with some terrifically interesting people. Any that come to mind right off the top of your head that you enjoyed meeting more than any others?
Oh, I've been so lucky. I meet a lot of famous people and everything, and there's some people that are idols of mine. Like I played Santa Barbara, California not long ago and met Jonathan Winters, and they introduced me to his wife and out at his house, you know, and introduced me to him, and he didn't say, "I'm happy to know you" or anything. He said, "Them Injuns," said, "they come across that mountain last night. They raped my daughter. Said they're hiding out there in the chaparral, so they'll attack again tonight." And you know, I run into people like that, and we're talking about doing some concerts together. It might happen.
What a combination.
Yeah, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? I would probably laugh myself silly after one night. I wouldn't be able to work, but I love him. And yeah, I get to meet a lot of people like that.
Well, thank you for allowing us to visit with you today here in the RCA building. This is kind of a legendary building in itself. A lot of big names have come through this building.
Yeah, Studio B over there is a museum now. And I don't know what that makes me, but I used to work over there a lot.
Well, I appreciate it, and I would consider it an honor if we could close our program today with you playing a little something for us.
I just happen to have a guitar.
I figured it'd
here,
be close by.
And let me see, get in position.
Well, while you're tuning, let me just say that we enjoyed having everyone with us today, and we invite you to tune in again next Monday morning for another edition of Coffee with Huell. And we close this morning by hearing some great sounds from Chet Atkins.
A tune from the album that you'll recognize. It's been a long, long time. Gonna fade out?
Just, that's fine. Just keep on going. That's super. That's good. Super.